Hi, I'm Stan. We're in the studio today to show you how to safely mount a large modifier to the front of a studio strobe without worrying about it falling to the floor. Now, I've read many cases online where a photographer has had a softbox go crashing to the floor only to cause equipment damage and possibly injury to someone. Now, frankly speaking, the softboxes that are mounted to studio strobes these days are quite large, and I don't believe that the monolights were really designed to handle that much mass and weight up front. So it's a little bit unfair to blame the manufacturer when something like that happens. Now, I wanted to avoid this happening to me, so I went searching for a solution, and although there are many out there, there was one in particular that works best for me, and I wanted to share that with you today. Now, I shoot with Einstein strobes made by the Paul C. Buff Company and PhotoFlex softboxes. You'll notice this softbox behind me is the most common setup, where the monolight will sit on top of a light stand and then the modifier attaches to the front of the light. In this particular case, this is a medium softbox and it hangs there quite nicely all on its own without any worry. But once you start going to the larger modifiers, especially the 5-foot and the 7-foot Octodome, then you're going to need some additional support. What I found was this bracket made by KC Enterprises. At $186 including the shipping, it is quite pricey, but it does the job very effectively. My guess is that the first time you lose a softbox, that it'll cost you at least that to either repair it or replace it. So in the long run, it's money well spent. This particular one is made especially for the Paul C. Buff modifiers, the ones that have the speed rings already built into it. I had to do some modifying to this to get it to work with my PhotoFlex softboxes, which is what I'm going to show you today. I also used this with a speed ring that's made by Bowen. This is the Bowen Quick Ring. This one has a lever on it that allows half of it to fold down. This makes it a lot easier to attach and remove the softboxes without very much hassle. This ring sells for about $49, and you will not need to purchase the optional ring insert. It's important to note that this ring is designed for a standard 4-rod softbox, and in order to attach an Octodome, you'll have to modify it by drilling out 2 of the threaded holes. Here you'll see a 1/4 20 and a 3/8 16 threaded hole that I drilled out with a 3/8 bit. You'll want to drill these out with smaller bits and graduate up to the 3/8 bit rather than try to take all the material out in one shot. I wasn't too worried about losing the threaded holes since I've never had to use them anyway. The next thing you'll have to do is remove the 4 thumb screws from the Bowen's Quick Ring and pass the KC bracket through the front, making sure that the swivel is facing away from the bracket. Now you will see that the bracket does not properly seat into the ring. This is because the shoulder height on the white KC ring is not tall enough. To fix this problem, you'll have to remove the white ring from the bracket and install a spacer. Many materials can be used for the spacer, but I use rubber gasket material that I found in the plumbing aisle of Home Depot. This material measures 6 inches by 6 inches and is 1/16 inch thick. There are 2 pieces to a package, and you'll need to sandwich both pieces together. I also like this material because it cuts easily with scissors. Now you can screw the white ring back onto the bracket with the spacer installed. I also replaced the 4 1/2-inch screws with slightly longer 832 by 3/4 inch stainless steel screws, also found at Home Depot. It's best not to fully tighten the 4 screws at this time. Now pass the reassembled KC bracket through the front of the Quick Ring again. Be sure that the swivel part is at the bottom and that it tilts away from the KC bracket. Now reinstall the thumb screws and fully tighten the 4 832 by 3/4 inch screws. Now you are ready to attach the bracket and Quick Ring to a light stand. I prefer the Avenger C stand since they are much stronger and sturdier than a conventional light stand. You'll also need a grip head like this Avenger D200, which is a perfect fit for this application. Here you'll see the completed assembly attached to the stand and ready for your large modifier. You can clearly see that the bracket will support the monolight and the softbox independently without putting any pressure on your studio light. I'm going to attach a 5-foot Octodome to mine. The first thing I'll do is place the rods in the top holes of the quick ring. And then I'll insert the bottom ones. Once they are all in place, I'll fold the bottom half of the ring down until it clicks in place. Now we'll attach the Einstein to the bracket and the quick ring and lock it in place. And finally, you can now rotate and adjust the angle of your modifier to your liking and never worry about it falling to the floor again. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and thanks for watching. And remember, like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/likestandsPhotos.